off-campus house rented by four of my fraternity brothers. As such, it was a boisterous house, lots of people coming and going, frequent parties, often loud music, all those sorts of things young college-age guys do. This house was built in the 1930s, nothing remarkable, located in a very small Virginia town with a lot of history. This was Sunday night, and it was different than usual. All of my roommates were out of town. I was alone for the evening. It wasn't the first time I'd ever been alone, but it certainly was rare for only one person to be in the house. Oftentimes, friends would crash on couches, and there would be more than four people who lived there bouncing about. I didn't have anything to drink, watch some TV, and drink into bed at midnight. I usually sleep well. I have never suffered any sort of sleep paralysis or even frightening nightmares. But on this night, I couldn't fall asleep. I felt like I was being watched. I got up, confirmed all of the doors were locked and the lights were off, and laid back down. As soon as I got back into bed, I saw it, froze in fear. What I saw was difficult to describe, but impossible to forget. It was a black shadow in the silhouette of a person, but that was it. I could tell it was much darker and left an outline on the wall behind it. When I saw it, chills went up my spine. I couldn't see many features, but could instantly tell it was looking at me. I'm lying on my back, frozen in fear. I could physically move, but I was so scared I just lay there as still as possible. Was I just freaking myself out? I don't think I was. The firehouse was down the road, and ambulances and fire trucks frequently drove down the street outside the window of my room I lived in. I heard the sirens and remained still, the red flashing lights as the truck drove by, briefly illuminating the room. The outline of the shadow was 100% there. There was no doubt in my mind some sort of dark shadow was in the room at the foot of my bed, looking at me. Though I couldn't see any eyes, and I had no doubt it wasn't a living human being. Then it started moving, not really walking, just sliding slowly, but steadily. When I first saw it, it was to my right, just beyond my foot. It was moving to my left. It got to the end of my bed and turned to me, seemingly to rotate so its dark head was ever focused and locked onto me. Just typing this now gives me chills and goosebumps all these years later. Once it turned, it slowly made its way down the bed, closer to me. I was frozen with fear, praying it would go away. I considered screaming and running out of the room. I thought about rolling over and pulling the sheets over my head and just pretending I was somehow tricking myself into imagining it. But I just couldn't because I wasn't tricking myself. Finally, as it got to me, it started leaning down right into my face, the black silhouette very distinct. I just squeezed my eyes tight, and I refused to open them. I stayed that way, petrified and awake, but with my eyes closed for what felt like hours. I slowly opened them and couldn't tell if the figure was supposed to be or not. But I was so freaked out, I didn't know what was going on. Finally, at first light, I got up and ran out of the house, stopping only to grab a shirt and sandals and basically sprint out. I didn't come back until later when a couple of my roommates were back. I repeated to them basically everything I said above, and they thought I was either crazy or tricking myself. Since it was August and summer was almost over, I slept on a couch in the living room for the short time left. I already had plans to move out for the school year to a different apartment. I was so scared I never wanted to stay in that room ever again. Life sort of settled down. Business went as usual until the following Saturday afternoon, 6 days after my experience. A group of my friends were relaxing, watching TV, and the family knocked on the door. This house had been in their family a long time ago, and they wondered if we would let them in so they could walk through and reminisce. Weird, but sure. They were older, each one younger than 50, with a couple in their late 60s or 70s, and seemed to be nice, so we let them in. We pretty much went back to watching TV while they wandered around the house. My room was attached to the living room. Once they walked through the kitchen, one of the older ladies pointed to my room and said, "Oh, I remember that room. It was Cousin's room, but her dad, my Uncle Clarence, would never go in there because he saw a ghost and was too shaken up that he never wanted to mess around there again." I was absolutely floored. This woman Everyone volunteered the information. I didn't even think to ask them if they knew about any other sort of weird things happening. At this point, even my buddies were stunned to hear this. I was happy I told them about it when I did. I asked if the uncle was prone to make up crazy stories. And she said no. By all accounts, he was a fairly typical family member, not any type of person to come up with weird stories or attention. Once they were gone, I left that house. I will never